Hello friends, hope all of you are doing great. This is Ashutosh Bhattodekar once again with another video on important terms in project management. If you remember last week I had created a video on important terms in project management where I covered 10 important terms in project management, and in that video I had promised you that I will come up with the part 2 of that video. So this is the part 2 of that video, and in case any of you has missed the earlier video, do watch the video. The link of the video is provided in the description link. It is also appearing on the top right corner of this video for you to have an easy access. So let us continue our journey on 10 more important terms in project management. The first term which I am going to talk about is on gold plating, and this is a term we quite often hear in project management parlance. So what is gold plating? Gold plating is the ability of the team to deliver extra features or extra work when it is never demanded by the customer or the client. We think that by delivering this extra work or extra features, our customers will be happy. But in reality, the customers are more interested in the scope what has been agreed before. So gold plating is something which is strictly a no-no and which adds really no value to our deliverables. Moving on to the next term we have is OPA or Organizational Process Assets. These are process assets which are a part and parcel of an organization's DNA, and these get enriched as and when an organization does and executes projects. So organizational process assets, or OPAs as they are popularly called as, are organization specific templates, checklists, artifacts, and they also include corporate knowledge bases like a risk database or any known issues which the organization has faced. So those are what we call as the OPAs, or an organizational process assets. Next we have emotional intelligence. I'm sure many of us have heard about intelligent quotient or IQ. But just having an IQ is not enough in today's world. What we need is a strong emotional intelligence or a strong EQ. So what EQ is all about, or what emotional intelligence is all about, is the ability of an individual to first recognize his or her emotions and also understand how to manage those emotions. So emotional intelligence comes with that 4-quadrant theory, which is about self-awareness, self-management, and then we have social awareness and social skills. So those are the 4 quadrants of the emotional intelligence theory which we see here. The next term we see is tailoring. Tailoring is the ability of a project manager to modify an existing process. Now we do have some standard sources of knowledge in project management through the PMBOK guide, to other sources, and as a project manager, many times I find that the standard processes which are kind of prescribed cannot be directly lifted and shifted into my project management arena. So I need to modify the process, or I need to customize the process in order to get the best results out of it. And that process is called as tailoring. And it is strongly recommended that a project manager does a due diligence before directly lifting and shifting a process from a project A into a project B. And this is where tailoring comes in very, very handy. Moving on, the next process we have is the project life cycle. What is a project life cycle? A project life cycle is a collection of project phases. So the reason we divide a project into phases is to have a better management and control. And a collection of these phases is called as a project life cycle. One important point to remember is that at the end of each phase, we have a formal process called as a toll gate review or a stage gate review or a kill point, and this acts as a go no go decision. So at the end of a toll gate review, a decision might be taken to either suspend a project or to completely kill the project or halt the project because of some external or internal factors. Next we have is a constraint. A constraint is a limitation or a limiting factor or an impediment which comes in the way of a project execution. I'm sure many of you know the earlier school of thought of the triple constraint theory: scope, schedule, and cost. However, the new school of thought says that there are unlimited constraints in a project, and that triangle has been replaced with a constraint wheel. And as a project manager, I need to make sure that these constraints, which are competing in nature, which means one constraint has got an impact on another, the constraint wheel at the end of the day needs to be in an equilibrium state. Next, we move on to a business case. A business case is a rationale or a justification for the project to exist in a first place. Business case is usually prepared by a sponsor or by the funding authority of the project, and it documents why this project is needed, why this project scores better over other similar projects, and how is the funding going to come for this project. So there could be multiple sources of funding for the project. It could be through internal accruals, it could be through market funding, or it could be through loans from financial institutions like World Bank, Asian Development Bank, etc. So a business case is a document which will list down all these aspects of project funding and a rationale for picking up a project. Next, we have enterprise environmental factors. Enterprise environmental factors are of two types: external enterprise environmental factors and internal enterprise environmental factors. These are factors which are usually beyond the control of a project manager, but they definitely come in the way of project execution, though in a positive as well as in a negative way. But most of the times they act as a constraint or impediment to the project. And some of the ways in which we can identify enterprise environmental factors or EEFs could be through the PESEL analysis, it could be through a SWOT analysis, or it could be through the VUCA analysis. These are some of the popular tools for identifying the enterprise environmental factors. Moving on, Project Management Office. Project Management Office or PMO is an organizational body which is responsible for standardizing the project management practices across a business unit or within an organization. So some of the key roles and responsibilities of the PMO includes standardization of project management templates, rolling out a new tool specifically related to project management, making sure that the best of the best project management practices are consistently followed across the various project teams, and in some cases also acting as a repository of project managers and supplying them to the project as and when needed. Apart from this, one active contribution of PMO is also in organizing project management training on processes and tools. Next, we have the very famous Deming cycle or the PDCA cycle: Plan, Do, Check, Act. It is a 4-step iterative process improvement cycle, and it is also popularly called as Shewhart cycle or Deming's wheel. This has been used across industries to initiate their process improvement initiatives. So I hope these 10 terms were of help to you, and do provide your feedback about this video. Kindly like, share and subscribe this video to your colleagues, and do expect more such videos which will help you in your PMP certification journey. This is Ashutosh Bhatodekar signing off for the moment. Have a great day ahead. Thank you.